started this episode thinking I was just going on a little trip around Eorzea. Maybe deliver some letters, meet some important people, and look cute doing it. Somehow, I ended up fighting pirates, solving a missing person mystery, joining a secret society, becoming a snack for a fire monster, and finally getting my own Chocobo. Honestly, this adventure got way more dramatic than the job description promised. Anyway, hi. Let's start from the beginning. Last episode ended with me dramatically boarding an airship like the main character of an action movie. Turns out the airship pass was not actually my prize. It was my homework. Admiral Merlewhip wants me to personally deliver a letter to the other two leaders of Eorzea. First stop, Gridania. Very pretty, very green, so many trees, so much fresh air, and zero pirates anywhere, which honestly threw off my whole sense of direction. I get brought in to meet Connie Senna, the supreme leader of Gridania, who is calm and graceful and makes me feel like I should be standing up straighter. She thanks me for the letter, and then she pauses and looks at me a little differently, and says I remind her of someone she once knew. Someone brave. Someone she lost. Excuse me, ma'am? I came here to deliver mail, and honestly, this vibe is getting way too deep for me. Anyway, moving on before I cry in front of a tree goddess. Next stop, Ul'dah. Hot, sandy, loud, exactly the vibe you'd expect from a city that runs on money and drama. It kind of reminds me of Nevada. And not too far from here is the Gold Saucer, basically Eorzea's version of Las Vegas. I was taken to meet General Raubon, this huge, intimidating guy who takes one look at me and goes, "Ah, a guest from Limsa? I thought I smelled stale ale. Excuse me? That's just rude. I mean, not wrong, but still rude." He says if I'm really the badass Merlewhip says I am, I should smell like rotting fish monsters. Honestly, my current vibe is just sweaty, broke, and running on pure caffeine, so I'm calling it close enough. Finally, both letters delivered, diplomatic mission complete, I head back to Limsa feeling pretty proud of myself. And that's when Beteron sits me down for a little history lesson I didn't ask for. Quick lore break since we're apparently doing one of these every episode now. So, there's this huge empire up north called the Garlean Empire. About 50 years ago, they figured out this tech called Magitech, and they have just been steadily taking over their neighbors ever since. Their leader basically crowned himself emperor and turned the whole thing into a war machine. Why is this important? Because they've had their eyes on Eorzea like a snack for ages. The only reason they aren't invading right now is because their emperor is old, sick, and forgot to pick a successor. It's a nice little distraction for them, but let's be real. This is 100% going to explode in our faces very soon. I don't know where to run to. I mean, where to prepare for the battle, yeah. After that delightful bedtime story, Beteron's got one more thing for me. Some sketchy guys have been spotted hanging around a sea cave called Sestasha, and we're back to pirates. Not again. Sir, I literally just solved the pirate situation last episode. Did word not travel? Is there no group chat for this? Turns out it's a whole new batch of pirates working with the Sahagin again. Great! Time to go out there and fulfill my destiny of smelling like rotting fish monsters just to prove General Robin that I can fight. I'll show you what's up. So, I head into Sestasha. Turns out the cave's basically a real steal for them. The perfect little hideout to plan raids on Lominsan settlements without anyone noticing. I fight my way through some very damp tunnels and take down their leader. You're welcome, Ocean. Beteron's basically passing me around like a gift basket. I was sent to Gridania again, where I meet Miyun, the innkeeper who handles guild business there too. She tells me there's a cult living in an old crypt called Tamtara Deepcroft. A cult? In a crypt? Okay, I'm not scared. They call themselves the Lambs of Dalamud, and they worship the literal moon that fell out of the sky and almost ended the world. What a hobby. I go in, fight my way past a bunch of angry undead who clearly did not want visitors, and end up waking the squid-looking ghost of some ancient king named Galvanth. He was not happy to see me, and I wasn't happy to be there either. At least we had that in common. Ghost defeated, cult foiled, on to the next city. Back to Ul'dah, where I meet Momodi, who runs the local inn and guild desk there too. I'm apparently collecting tavern keepers like Pokemon now. She tells me there's a problem at Copperbell Mines. Some miners dug a little too deep and accidentally let loose a bunch of giants that have been trapped underground for like 300 years. So just to be clear, I am 3 feet tall. These things are several stories tall. I'm basically doing the David and Goliath thing, except David didn't have great health insurance, and honestly, neither do I. But somehow we won! Mostly thanks to my 3 actual capable party members, while I mainly contributed vibes and occasional hitting. 2 dungeons, 1 cult, 1 mining disaster, all in a day's work. I should be getting hazard pay. Out of nowhere, I find out some secretive organization has been keeping an eye on me, which is either really flattering or really concerning, and honestly, at this point, I'll take either. I head to this hidden place called the Waking Sands, and the first person I meet is a tiny, excited Lalafell named Tataru, who is basically sunshine in person form. She brings me in to meet Minfilia, who's apparently the leader of this whole group, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. And Minfilia tells me she's been waiting for me. Did she have some kind of psychic vision about me? Anyways, she explains the Scions exist to deal with stuff governments can't really handle. Primals, ancient threats, me being a key part of the plan because of this whole echo thing. And to officially join, I have to say a secret password. Wild Rose. Real spy movie energy. All I needed was a trench coat and some dramatic music playing behind me. Then I get introduced to the rest of the team, including a guy named Eorzea, who talks like he wandered out of a Shakespeare play and just never found his way back. I didn't understand most of it, so I just nodded along like I totally knew what was happening. Works every time. And Thancred's here too, looking smug as ever because of course he is. So I guess that makes me an official Scion now. My first real assignment? Investigate some disappearances out in eastern Thanalon. From fetch quests to missing persons cases. Huge promotion, but nobody asked if I was ready for it. Thancred sends me to Camp Drybone to meet a man named Eisenbard who is dealing with a serious case of people just vanishing. First thing he asked me to do is go collect some bodies the Amalja left behind. Wonderful first impression. Really sets the tone for what's coming. But here's the thing, the numbers don't add up. Way too many people are missing for this to just be regular Amalja raids. Something else is going on. So now I'm basically running my own little investigation. I talked to the locals. I really thought this would feel like a detective movie. Instead, it's just a lot of awkward silence and people suddenly remembering somewhere else to be. Huh? What's wrong, guys? Do I still smell like fish? Isambard sends me to deliver a body for a proper burial at this little church nearby where I meet a groundskeeper named Marcus who is having a rough week, and a kind nun named Sister Austin, and then Thancred, being Thancred, looks at the sweet, helpful nun and goes, suspicious. Sir, she buries bodies and comforts orphans. Your detective instincts need some serious work. So, to clear her name, I go talk to one of the kids she looks after, who tells me Orson ran off looking for a lost treasure and might be in trouble. So I go rescue her from some seriously unpleasant undead soldiers. Turns out she's totally innocent. I told you so. A nice person being nice? The detective work on this one, incredible. Sherlock who? Meanwhile, Thancred's been tailing some actual Amalja and finds a sketchy encampment. I go in and find this leaflet that definitely was not written by the church. So now we know someone's been impersonating a priest this whole time to lure people in. A fake priest. Just when you think this place is run out of surprises. Thancred's plan to catch the fake priest is for us to dress up as broke, desperate people and wander around looking miserable until the bad guy comes to us. And yes, this was not my idea. So I put on the raggedy outfit and play the part, full Oscar mode. I have never begged for work so convincingly in my entire life. And somehow I still look adorable. Tragic, really. We get led to this isolated little pond, and guess who shows up? Ungust. He's a merchant who accused a refugee woman of stealing meat, then now shows up again dressed as a priest this time? Turns out that whole priest thing was a cover. He'd been feeding refugees to the Amalja for cash. The Amalja basically blackmailed him into it at first, and then he just kept going because the money was good. He admits it straight to our faces, completely unbothered, like he's confessing to stealing a sandwich instead of, selling people to a primal cult. We send word to Minfilia, and she's basically like, well, now we know a fight with the Amalja is coming. Get ready. Speaking of getting ready, she sends me to meet a goblin named Mudamix, who teaches me about something called materia. The whole idea is you meld these little crystals into your gear to make it stronger. I like that. But I didn't understand most of what he said either. Clear explanations just aren't really a thing here. But hey, stronger gear, free upgrade, I will absolutely take it. Okay, this is the exciting part. Buckle up. The Scions had discovered that the Amalja beast tribe had summoned a Primal, a being called Ifrit. The Amalja believed Ifrit was their protector, but the Scions knew the truth. Every time a Primal appears, it drains a massive amount of energy from the land. If too many Primals are summoned, Eorzea could be in serious trouble. So the plan is, we use Ungust as bait to ambush the Amalja once and for all. Simple, clean. What could go wrong? Everything could go wrong. Some of the soldiers helping us out turn out to be dirty cops and they sell us out. Straight up hand us over to the Amalja like we're a group order from a delivery app. So now I'm being marched through the desert as a prisoner, and honestly, my resume is really taking a hit this week. And they're chanting something about offering us up to their god, Ifrit, the Lord of the Inferno. Cool name, terrible vibe. Ifrit shows up and he tries to do that tempering thing I mentioned last episode, the whole mind control thing primals do, which it doesn't work on me because of the echo. Sorry, buddy. My brain came with antivirus software pre-installed. Apparently, Ifrit didn't appreciate me being immune to his tempering, so instead of accepting defeat, he decided the next best plan was to roast me alive. Very mature response, honestly. We battled through flames, explosions, and a lot of very uncomfortable heat. But in the end, this tiny Lalafell was still standing. Better luck next time, spicy chicken. Afterward, Thancred's proud of me, which feels nice, until Minfilia and Thancred tell me something pretty heavy. The people who got tempered during all this, the ones who got mind-controlled, they can't be saved. To stop Ifrit's power from coming back, those people have to be put down. That's why we're pushing to stop this from happening. Word got around that I beat up a fake god, and now everybody wants a piece of me. All 3 grand companies show up at the Waking Sands wanting me to join their side. Minfilia looks a little embarrassed about it. Pretty sure she's the reason I'm suddenly everyone's budget adventurer. To help me decide, she sends me to attend memorial services in all 3 cities, which is also where I meet these 2 new people, twins named Alphinaud and Alice. Alphinaud and Alice are identical twins from Charlian who serve as core members of the Scions of the 7th Dawn. Despite sharing a face, they are opposites in personality, philosophy, and combat style. And now, here I am, standing in front of 3 different officers, each one waiting for me to pick a side. Maelstrom, Twin Adder, Immortal Flames. I went with Maelstrom. Not for the politics, not for the history. The gear just looked coolest. Hey, I care about fashion, okay? I walk into Maelstrom Command feeling extremely official. Then someone burst into the room yelling that a civilian airship had just been shot down by the Garlean Empire. So much for the welcoming ceremony. I rushed to the crash site and fought off the Imperial soldiers before they could capture the survivors. That's where I met 2 engineers named Biggs and Wedge from Garland Iron Works. They had been test flying the tiny Bronco, the company's first airship built since the Calamity. The Garleans wanted the ship and its Magitech technology. They also mentioned their missing engineer, Sid. I had no idea who Sid was yet, but everyone acted like he was someone important. After making sure everyone was safe, I headed back to Limsa and finally became an official member of the Maelstrom. At least this ceremony didn't end with another Primal trying to set me on fire. After officially joining the Maelstrom, I finally earned my own Chocobo. No more running halfway across Eorzea on my tiny little legs. I even got to give it a name. Best part? It wasn't just transportation. My feathery new friend could actually fight alongside me. Which is great, because now there are 2 of us making questionable decisions. And that's it for episode 2. Thanks for watching. If you want more episodes, a like and subscribe is the best way to let me know. See you next time. Bye!